Hello and welcome all of you to this session. I had my first conversation with Vishwas sir last night, and since then I have been working out a problem how to introduce a writer like him. One pithy way of putting it would be to describe him as every publisher's delight. Sir, I'm reminded of an anecdote in my life. A UK-based academic told me, Sampad, people in India don't read books. She based this argument on numbers, the copies which were being sold by Indian writers in English. So I had to inform her that if you just take a look at our writers writing in our Indian languages, in our vernacular languages, you might have a different opinion. So, sir, I think a pithy way to describe you would be a publisher's delight. You have been so popular with readers that I think that one day, I'm sure, and that day is not very far off, in terms of popularity and reach and appeal, we'll think of Sarat Chandra and then we'll think of you. But that I don't think that is the only extent of your accomplishments. Writers like Sunil Gangopadhyay have paid you tributes. I believe in an article in Desh magazine, he mentioned you and your work. Amitav Ghosh has mentioned you as one of the 5 greatest writers in India contemporarily.
Sunilda wrote separate article about me and my novel.
Right.
Mahanayak.
So ever since I think you wrote Panipat, you came into prominence and you have remained under the spotlight. Do you feel bad for other authors writing that you have captured most of the spotlight here? But the good thing today also is that we are discussing a work of historical fiction that you have authored on Mahanayak. Sir, historians have been a distressed lot recently. They feel persecuted. They feel that they are under assault by misinformation, by propaganda, by Bollywood and so many other things. But I look at this entire situation a little differently. I think we had too much reverence for our leaders, so much so that we were rendered comatose by the subject of history. We were not debating, we were not arguing, and most importantly, we were not comparing the leaders of our freedom movement. I think with this book, you give us a chance to not just examine Subhash Chandra Bose, Mahanayak in your book, but you also give us a chance to draw contrasts with other figures, other great figures at the same time. So, can you draw the audience into this discussion here today by giving us an anecdote that can draw a stark contrast between, let's say, Bose and Nehru?
In this country, at the time of Madras Congress, there was a big slogan, Azadi ke do lal, Subhash aur Jawaharlal. That was the big slogan. And afterwards, there was a kind of rift and all other. But I should tell you initially that I am a boy from far-flung area of Maharashtra, from a jungle, namely Sahyadri mountain. And there is my small village. The village carries today also 1700 population. And I am a boy from Jilla Parishad school. And out of my passion, I was diverted towards this literature and all that. When I was 28 years old, I wrote named Panipat, the book on Panipat battle. And my second novel was Jhada Jharti. It was about the construction of big dams and rehabilitation of the people. For that novel, I got Sahitya Academy Award, main Sahitya Academy Award. That time, my age was 32 years. But I still recollect the funny background of my village. And in Maharashtra, I am said as a Panipatkar, the writer of Panipat. And I recollect how the word has come in my life. मैं स्कूल में जब 5वीं कक्षा में था, तो पानीपत की लड़ाई ये पाठ पढ़ाया जा रहा था और उसी दरमियान मैं ननिहाल गया था, स्कूल में नहीं था. तो टीचर ने मुझे पकड़ा और पूछा कि पाटिल बताइए कि पानीपत की 3 लड़ाइयां कब और कब हुई. I should tell you that I was totally ignore about it. लेकिन हमारे टीचर बताते थे कि जवाब अगर गलत आए तो भी चलेगा, लेकिन जवाब कैसे, डट से देना चाहिए. तो फिर मैंने क्वेश्चन पूछा, हाँ बताइए. फिर एक बार क्वेश्चन पूछिए तो मास्टर जी बोले पानीपत की 3 लड़ाइयां कब कब और कब हुई. मैं बोला बस इतना ही. पानीपत की 3 लड़ाई कभी हुई सर? पहली होने के बाद दूसरी हो गई और दूसरी होने के बाद तीसरी हो गई. तब मेरे हाथ पे जो डंडा मिला, डंडा बजे छम छम, विद्या आई घम घम, ऐसी मेरी शुरुआत थी. तो you asked me about life of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. I should tell that in relation of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, there were 2 Gyanpith awardees. One poet Vishnu Day, he was a close relative, and another his companion Tara Shankar Bandyopadhyay. But there were many dots which were needed to fill up, and for that I toured a lot. I paid visit to Burma. I went to Japan, and I did research for more than 6-7 years. I think Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, Nehru, and Gandhi, they were like peak of mountains. And luckily, I should tell you that one international pressman and writer, Nirad Chaudhary, who was a secretary to Sharat Chandra Bose, the elder brother of Subhash Chandra Bose. And he has written very good book, namely Thy Hand Great Anarch. And in that book, he has penned down more than 150 pages about Subhash Chandra and Gandhiji and Nehru. Many times, to historical writer, favorite question is that how much there is a imagination and how much you are the reality. I was searching some device. I should tell you that Gandhiji and Motilal Nehru, they both were more ambitious about Jawaharlal Nehru, and they were looking down a kind in a way towards Netaji. I should tell one book written by Nehru himself, a bunch of old letters. During those, in that book, there are many letters, and Nehru has also admitted in his biography that I was pitchforked in the chair of Congress president. Means he was a pitchfork. It was not his own choice. So I was searching. What happened is that Gandhiji was a feeling. There was one youth congress in Indian National Congress, and Subhash Babu and Pandit Nehru, they got such a mammoth support of youngsters, wherein Bhagat Singh, Sukhdev was also there. Many youngsters, they were backing and boosting Subhash Bose and Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. That's why Gandhiji was anxious about running the Congress. And one should admit, though Gandhiji was a big soul, he was a sort of dictator in his life. Gandhiji was a feeling the Congress should run as I say and as per my wish. And that was the point of contention. So I was searching out a device, how I should put it, because for an author or a poet, many more things should be told, pack up in some small words. And I was searching device. And I got, in a correspondence of Gandhiji, there was a letter that when Bapu was staying in Porbandar, he was fond of circus. And his father used to take him to circus. And when this Gandhi, Nehru, Subhash, this turmoil period was there, Gandhiji recollected that circus. During those days, what had happened is that in that village circus, there was a very powerful ringmaster. And this ringmaster, before this ringmaster, everybody was trembling. And what had happened is that two lion cubs were purchased in a circus. And those cubs were roaring and attacking to this ringmaster also. And they were making fun of ringmaster. So ringmaster became very anxious. Anyhow, I'll have to run this circus. But how? And he thought about it. And on one day, when the circus wagons were passing through thick jungle, he stopped a particular cage, particular wagon, wherein two cubs were there. Ringmaster went backside and he allowed a cub to go down and another was remained. So what happened afterwards that there was no strength. So in circus, this remaining cub was speechless. On such footing, they were divided. Means the thing I was going to narrate in 40, 50 pages, I just gave in one. I think when Gandhiji expelled Subhash Chandra Bose, though he was elected president of Indian National Congress, though he was a defeated Gandhiji's candidate Sitaramaiah by 200 votes, means in around total voting was 2500, and even in United Province, where Nehru was coming, where from, then many big leaders were coming. Rajendra Prasad was also from nearby, and in United Province, Pattabi Sitaramaiah got 200 less votes than Subhash Bose. And it was a big battle. In 1940, there was a special Calcutta session. Gandhiji put resolution to banish Subhash from Indian National Congress for 2 years. On stage, Nehru stood up and Nehru quarreled with Gandhiji कि you should not give such a big sentence to Subhash. You are, Bapu, you are heartless. But Gandhiji's heart was like a stone and he told, no, I am going to banish him. And he banished Subhash. As usual, on the same day, as usual, Pandit Nehru was staying with the Bose's family in Bose house. And as usual, on very next day, Jawahar was going to catch a train and Subhash was going to see him off by his own car. They were going towards car. A small niece of Subhash, her name was Geeta, and Geeta rushed there with one flower dandi, gulab ki dandi, because she was knowing that Jawahar likes flowers much. Then Subhash took that gulab ki dandi in his hand and he plucked out that flower and he attached that flower to Nehru. That time Nehru noticed that there is a drop of blood to the finger of Subhash. And Nehru, Jawaharlalji said, Arey Subhash, look, there is a khoon. There is a blood. Subhash laughed. He went back and he told Nehruji, leave it, Bade Bhai. The Almighty God has kept flowers for you and thorns to me. I think in this example, you can narrate the story. Many times readers ask me whether this story is true. Then my answer is that congression, expulsion, the banishment of Subhash, living on the same house in the both of the friends, everything was correct. Even the name of Geeta, niece of Subhash Babu, her name was also Nita. And only what I did is that I took a gulab ki dandi and I put in the hand of that Geeta, and then further incident had happened.
I can't disagree with you, sir. There were certain sides to the Mahatma, and one of them was he was an autocrat in some ways.
No, he was autocrat.
So, the Soilabala Das, who is a very well-known figure here, the daughter of Madhusudan Das, has also written in her memoirs that when she was wearing a very expensive sari and she met the Mahatma for the first time, he immediately said, take off that sari and give it to me. And she said, no, I won't. He said, you have to sacrifice. She said, I'm ready to sacrifice a lot of things. I don't want to sacrifice this sari. So there was an autocratic side to the Mahatma. But should we consider other aspects of the situation also? So I'll just contextualize this for the audience. What Vishwas sir is referring to is the Haripura session of Congress, where Subhash Chandra Bose was elected president in thumping numbers. And he became, I think, the second Bengali to assume the presidency of the Congress party after Chittaranjan Das in 1922. And then this happens in 1938. So it was a a very, very big deal. But, and what all he has said is absolutely correct, but there was also another generous side to the Mahatma. After, I believe, sir, he won the election, he instructed Nandalal Bose and Darbar Gopal Das, who was a prince from the Saurashtra region, that you must give the grandest reception ever to Subhash Bose when he comes to take his oath and when he gives his maiden speech as president of the Congress party. So 51 gates were erected, 51 national songs were sung, there was a huge procession of bullock carts. So that kind of honor was also given to Subhash Chandra Bose. What is also fascinating, sir, is that I believe when we were speaking earlier about your book, you told me that Subhash Bose as a figure has captivated you from your boyhood days.
Yeah.
Now this figure, this person has stayed with you for decades of your life. I'm sure even after you finished writing the book. So how has your opinion of Netaji evolved over the years? And do you also have a critique of Netaji, his ideology or his methods?
I think only drawback with Subhash Chandra Bose was that he was too emotional. Whenever he will take the name of Mother India on his tongue, his eyes will in streams. So he was a very much emotional, and politics is the game of wickets. It is not honorable person's method of way. So I think Subhash was emotional, but he was too pragmatic. We should not forget that during those days, and here I should tell you that few months back, India's Prime Minister allowed female in military on military ranking, high ranking. There was a bar previously, but Modi ji allowed it. But we should not forget that in 1943, you can watch the picture of Japan. Not a single girl was working in any school, any shop, in the market. Women or female were not working there. That was the situation of the world. And that time, Subhash Chandra Bose founded Rani Jhansi regiment, and Captain Lakshmi was the hero of that Rani Jhansi Lakshmi, that brigade. So I should tell you that Subhash Chandra Bose was the first leader who gave in the arms, in the hands of our mothers and sisters. And we have forgotten that completely. He was a pragmatic. Though Nehru brought a 5-year plan on the line of Russia, Subhash Bose was the first person who talked about this planning. Not only that, you were telling about Haripura Congress. In Haripura Congress, Subhash Bose was the first person from Congress dais. He spoke about family planning. Family planning is needed. Then he was working, or he was very enthusiastic or boosting for one script only, that is Roman script for whole India. So there were many things.
Again, we are on agreement as far as this point is concerned that in politics you cannot afford to be emotional. But I believe, sir, sometimes it also helped Netaji, this emotional side, because when he went and spoke with foreign leaders, I believe you have an anecdote about the Japanese Prime Minister and Subhash Bose's meeting. So please share that anecdote.
Many times Netaji's emotions worked out also. Many years I was asking history, when Netaji Bose went to Japan, who was along with me, along with him. So history was telling me that except his clothes, nobody was there. And then why Japan gave such a great help to Netaji? There was 3-division army which was offered to Netaji by Japanese. One division is of 20,000. So 60,000 people, Japanese, were marching towards Imphal and Kohima under tricolor. Kadam kadam बढ़ाए जा, खुशी के गीत गाए जा, ए जिंदगी है कौम की, तू कौम पे लुटाए जा. Those were the songs. And his emotions worked. First, in 1997, I visited Japan. And I was searching the answer of this question, why Japanese helped Subhash Bose so much. As an participant country, they helped him. And there was my speech in Tokyo. Next day, I paid visit to Renkoji temple. You are aware that Netaji's remains are kept in that Buddhist temple, Renkoji temple. And when I went there, I found more than 25 Japanese old people were there to welcome me. And when I go there, they saluted me, and they did such kind of salute as if they were saluting our tricolor. And they sang three songs. One is Vande Mataram, second is Kadam Kadam Badhaye Ja, and third is Sare Jahan Se Acha Hindustan Hamara.
With a Japanese accent.
Japanese people, though their sound or their uttering was a different, it was Japanese oriented, but they were singing Sare Jahan Se Acha Hindustan Hamara. Then I interviewed them and I asked them, what is the impression Subhash Bose created on you? In that crowd, many were ex-soldiers, 2-3 were interpreters, some were pressmen, some were guards. They were telling me that we are recalling Netaji, and we think on such a line that some Masiha, some Preshit appeared in our life for 2 or 3 years, or maybe for 5-6 months, but still we are carrying those precious memory, his way of inspiring the people, and his love for his nation. That time they told me, even this paragraph is there in the book of Shingemitsu, the then Japanese foreign minister. What he has narrated in one paragraph, that when Subhash Chandra Bose, the Indian leader, was standing before our Japanese Prime Minister Tojo, and when he was arguing the case of his slave country, and when he was arguing, fighting for a liberation of his country, while uttering his word, he was becoming so much emotional that we were feeling he is not standing in front of our Prime Minister, but he has went in heaven and he is fighting the cause of his nation with Almighty God. And seeing his such a nur, such a impression, we melted down. Like Mombatti, we melted down, and we decided to help out India and to help out Subhash Bose. Zara, please, आप तो बातें मत करिए.
Yeah, I think volunteers.
You are volunteers?
Yes, please. Anyway, so sir, this brings me to my next question about how we look at history itself. So historians say that this, your approach, where you have found a great leader and you are discussing his qualities, they call it the great man theory. And historians say that, that is a 19th century approach to history. We must look at history differently. So the Marxists, they say that history acts itself out through economics. So they look at structures. The liberals say, no, leaders don't matter, ideas matter. So that is why they have gone in the direction of intellectual history. But do you still believe that it is only great people who make great things happen? And I ask you this question, why? What do you think, apart from his emotional side, were the innate leadership qualities in Subhash Chandra Bose that used to move so many people, even outside India? What were his great innate qualities, which were leadership qualities?
I think he is very studious and a person who was day and night working like an army man, and for achievement of his goal. I think I recollect one saying of Subhash Bose. It was very familiar, dear to him. 2 sentences from one Christian book, I think New Testament. And that statement was, the heights of the great men that they reach and keep, it was not attained by a sudden flight. but while their companions were slept, they were toiling upwards in the night. So when India was drowsing, leaders like Nehru, Subhash, Gandhi, Ambedkar, they were working for the betterment of this country. And many times history repeats again and again. Sometime a new wave will come with some cause. You can recollect the days of emergency. There was a big high-handedness everywhere. Therefore, there was a big cause, and because of that, there was a Janata Party and all that. I think individual or powerful individual, powerful organization, or powerful cause, 2-3 aspects are revolving around again and again. So you can recollect the coming of Modi ji on the chair of Prime Minister. He, as an individual, he created a kind of wave. Now we can go in details whether it was a good or bad for history, that apart. But there are 3 devices: individual, organization, or some cause.
So what about timing? You mentioned Narendra Modi. I had an interesting discussion where somebody told me that perhaps Modi ji was also very successful because he met the moment. Great or influential leaders, let us say, need to meet the moment. Maybe Modi would not have been Prime Minister had he run in 2004 or 2009, but 2014 was his moment. So in that sense, did Subhash Chandra Bose meet his moment? What moment was that? And what did he do? I'm asking this because you have a galaxy of leaders. Just imagine the freedom movement. You have Ambedkar, you have Patel. Ambedkar, great constitutionalist, highly educated economist. You have Patel, great organizer. You have Mahatma Gandhi with an ability to sway the masses. You have Nehru making elegant speeches. So what does Subhash Chandra Bose bring amongst this galaxy of leaders?
I think many researchers also did research on this line, that whatever Subhash Bose took step, that step was followed by Gandhi after a gap of 2 years. Subhash was calling for complete severing with British people from 1938, from Haripura Congress. We should not connect, we should sever completely with the British Raj. And that Karo ya Maro, that slogan was accepted by Gandhiji in 1942. Even after Chauri Chaura in 1930 movement, everywhere we will notice the parallel lines between these 2 great leaders.
So this reminds me that it was Ambedkar who actually said that independence was brought to India more by Subhash Chandra Bose than by the efforts of Gandhi. In the same vein, Subhash Bose also had its own opponents. For example, Vallabhbhai Patel was probably not disposed to like him as such.
But I should tell you that we did a defeat of Subhash Chandra Bose after his death, after his disappearance in India. Today we are saying some Gumnami Baba and all that. Yes. We are forgetting in 1931 in front of Gandhiji, Subhash attacked all these Buwa Baji, Buwa ashrams and all that. And you are now conceiving Subhash in the name of, in the robe of Gumnami Baba. I think Subhash was an Agni Putra. We should consider the coming of Napoleon Bonaparte. Though Napoleon Bonaparte was banished by many superpowers of the world, when he released himself and when he reached on the bank of France, lakhs of people followed him. Cholo Paris, to Paris, to Paris. On the same land, had Subhash Chandra Bose appeared in this land, then he would have been the finest leader, great leader, and it was very difficult to contest against him. Means he was a pure soul, and because of Azad in the pose, everybody was aware about his great deeds and all that. So I think Subhash was a Agni Putra. Had he come here after watching the poverty and problems of this country, He would not have allowed himself to remain idle, and that too in some Gumnami Baba. So I think we have done defeat of Subhash's character, Subhash's gospels, his ideas in some 5-6 years. I think in the quest of searching, what should I say, किताबों की बिक्री ज़्यादा होनी चाहिए. On this line, they wrote some Gumnami Baba theory, etc., etc. But there is evidence that Gumnami Baba, the real Gumnami Baba from that place, he was arrested in a murder case. Those evidence, that evidence is also there.
So talking about our own attitude to Netaji, would it be fair to say that while we have embraced his personality, his courage is indisputable, everybody agrees about that, we are a little uncomfortable when it comes to his ideas, especially his commitment to secularism and socialism. Is that a contradiction amongst us that we are not able to embrace the whole of Subhash Chandra Bose, his commitment to secularism, his commitment to socialism, his courage, all sides to him?
Yeah, he was we should not forget that for Tripuri Congress, all communist leaders and all socialist leaders supported Subhash against Gandhiji.
Absolutely, sir. I think when he became president of Congress, Jayaprakash Narayan and Lohia were also very happy.
Jayaprakash Narayan, Lohia, not only that, Dr. Vishweswaraya. He was such a workaholic man, he never left his place from Bangalore. But for Subhash Babu's 2-3 meetings, he visited Delhi and he was a great supporter. Rabindranath Tagore was also a great supporter of Subhash Chandra Bose.
So let's come back to your craft of writing the book, Mahanayak. You have given us a couple of examples about the extraordinary days you had as a researcher. You have retraced Subhash Bose's steps. You went to Japan. You spoke with people there. But what were the ordinary days for you as a researcher like? Which archives would you visit? How many hours would you, because you are also in the Indian Administrative Service. So how do you set apart time for your research? What are your ordinary days of a researcher like?
Now my Mahanayak is available in 14 Indian languages. 20 years back, it appeared in Oriya also, and including Bangla, in all languages, the book is there. But I did a good research. I consulted more than 25 Japanese books. I arranged Japanese translations, workable translations. Even I went through all the books written by Subhash Babu's friends, even foes also, and the persons who joined in his movement. I think more than 35 Bangla books I managed to translate in Marathi or in English or in Hindi. And I visited all big libraries of Delhi, Pune, Mumbai, and I consulted Japanese great library also.
Okay, so we have an interesting nugget of information.
But important thing is that I am so much lucky that during those days I met half of the cabinet of Subhash Bose. I have discussed Captain Lakshmi for I think 7-8 times. Netaji's daughter also, Anita, she came all through from Germany, and she also loves my book Netaji so much, and she released this our Gujarati edition. I was in a good company, means I was a good friend of Colonel Dhillon also, the man of Lal Killa. So luckily I got association, very good rapport with the help of the cabinet of Netaji Subhash Bose.
So I think you shared with us another interesting nugget. So there was certain material on Netaji which was in Japanese, which you arranged to be translated into English, and then you referred to those. So what an interesting process. And then when you wrote the book, your book is getting translated, Mahanayak is getting translated into 14 languages.
Yeah.
Now you have devoted years of your life to researching and writing this book, and then you hand it over to a translator.
Mhm.
So what kind of negotiations does that process involve? What has been your relationship with your translators
I
like?
think handing over a book to translation is like handing our child in the hand of Masi, auntie, the sister of our mother. She should take care as if it is her child. And if she is what should I say? If she pays that much attention and she offers that much love, then there won't be any problem. Luckily, I got very good translators because many of my books, many means Bharatiya Gyanpith published Hindi Mahanayak. It went into more than 16 editions. Kannada Mahanayak, more than 5 editions. So all my books are in editions. That means my brothers, translator, they have done a good job.
Yes, but when you hand one of your books over for translation, do you ever discuss a mandate? So I'm asking this in the context of one anecdote, which I was telling you earlier, that when Sunil Gangopadhyay
Yeah.
handed over Sei Samaya for translation,
Yeah.
he told his translator, don't even show me what you do. Just do it and publish it. So are you as generous?
No,
or
no,
do you
but,
discuss
but I should tell the very good example of Sunil Gangopadhyay. I am very happy that such a great writer, he wrote separate article on me and on my book in Desh. And he admitted there that to write a good novel on the life of Subhash Chandra Bose, it was my dream. But when I went through the English translation of Vishwas, I think nothing has left out. And he admitted. So I am very thankful to him.
So your books have not just traveled into different languages, they have also been adapted into different mediums. I'll bring up another one of your works, Chandramukhi,
Chandramukhi.
which was made into a very, very popular film. So when you hand over your material to be taken over by a director and a writer of a movie, what do those negotiations look like?
If director permits us, you can, this Chandramukhi, the story is a Maharashtra's big sugar baron leader who falls in love with the Tamasha Nach girl. That was the story, and it has become very popular in Marathi. But director was not knowing those Tamasha theaters and small places. So I took him and I visited and I showed him all those places. So I think if there is a good rapport between script writer, original writer and director, it works out well.
Right. I think this is a point where we should also allow members in the audience to ask you questions if they have any. So I'll invite you, people seated here, if you have any questions for our guest here today.
विश्वास सर बंगाली के विषय में आपने
Yeah?
बंगाली नहीं आपकी किताब है बंगाली
Bangari.
Bangari?
Bangari
I don't recollect. Bangari? Pangira. Pangira is the village story. Yeah. Pangira. Yeah. And another, that is a story of a village. Means, I think in 1990, I wrote this novel, Pangira. And it was on the question of water. And I predicted in that novel that in future, there will be battles will be on the issue of water, drinking water and water for irrigation also. It was my prediction, and later on it happened like that. And if we are not going to use the water properly, and if we are not saving the water properly, then there will be great scarcity and many problems will be there. Another novel I wrote that is about Jhada Jhadti, the construction of big dams and plight of the people from one region to another region. They go with their gods and with their customs and how they face difficulties in new area. That was the subject for which I got Sahitya Academy Award.
I believe we have one more question. Yes, please, sir, you.
Sir, you are such a well-known writer of historical fiction. I'm curious, which are some of the novels written in your own language and in other languages which you have admired or which might have inspired you? Could you share some?
There are many good novels, good dramas also. This Mughal-e-Azam was it was a drama, and you will surprise that what is heroine's name of Mughal-e-Azam? Salim and Anarkali. Anarkali was not in history; it was a creation of that playwright. So that good drama is there, Mughal-e-Azam. Then Vaishali ki Nagar Badhu hai. Then Dara Shuko pe, there is a very good novel from Bangla. From Marathi, Shivaji Savant's historical novel Chhawa. I have also written a novel on the same subject as a Sambhaji. Then Yayati by Visa Khandekar. I think there are many more novels in Hindi also.
Yes, yes.
Do you have any information about the formative period of Netaji Subhash?
What?
Any information? Do you have any information about the formative period of Netaji Subhash?
Yeah, I know.
What is that?
So that is his life in the Cuttack and his life in this area, Ravinshaw College and all that. So I have went through it, and 25-30 years back I visited Cuttack. It is, everything is there. The story of Janki Babu, Janki Nath Bose, everything is there. Means we discussed about his latter life, but initial life, all things are there.
One last question to find out. So, शिवाजी का सबसे बड़ा स्लोगन है तुम मुझे तुम प्रश्न आते दूंगा. Gandhi ji was not agreed to it. So, what is your thought process at that time? Was it required, not required? What is your point of view?
One British Prime Minister has also admitted that we leave India because of Subhash Chandra Bose more than Gandhiji.
Are you referring to Attlee?
Attlee openly admitted, he was interviewed and he has written also, because of the pressure created by Subhash Bose in the battle of Imphal, Kohima and all that, we left India.
So we can bring this session to a close. Thank you very much, Vishwas sir, for patiently handling our questions. Thank you, audience members. Kalinga Literature Festival, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Just together, both.